Hey, what's going on everybody? It is TSJ. Welcome back to my channel. I know it has been quite some time. I think it's been like a month, if not more than a month. And I've just been really busy with school and work as well. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, you know that I am a school teacher, so obviously with everything going on right now, the mechanics of education have changed as of recently, so I've been forced to, adapt to the situations, and I'm just really busy. Obviously, I have not forgotten about the YouTube channel. I promise. I do try to reply to comments when I can. I definitely love very nice comments and whatnot, so I really appreciate all that. But this video is a little different. This is about Mafia 3. Okay, and you're probably wondering, well, okay, we expected an update video or some Total War perhaps, and I have not forgotten about Total War, PC gaming, or anything like that. It's just, I really love Mafia 3. I know it's a really random video, but I think that if you have not tried Mafia 3 yet, you really should. I actually haven't played Mafia 1 or 2. I played the demo of Mafia 2 back when it came out on the PlayStation 3, but I never actually played the full game. And this is a game that I've wanted to play for some time now. And, it came out several years ago, and I was always like, I don't really know if I'm going to be interested in it. I watch a lot of game reviews. I'm watching YouTube all the time, on various games and movies, and obviously this game was said to be very repetitive. And you know what, I bit the bullet, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it. So I bought the definitive edition on PlayStation, on the PlayStation Store, and this game is fun. I mean, it is. I don't really have any complaints about it. So far, I've played about 10 hours of it, 10, 15 hours. And spoiler alert, by the way, I won't spoil anything too major, but I have taken over 3 territories so far in New Bordeaux, and so now I'm at the point where I have all 3 of my lieutenants, my underbosses, and now I can just capture the rest and divvy them up. Now, I know a lot of people said once that happens, it's going to start getting repetitive, but it doesn't really bother me that much. The reason that it's said to be repetitive is because for each territory, you essentially do the same thing. You take down rackets, and by, what that is you go to a location and you kill all the bad guys there, and sometimes you destroy property, and, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just end up killing the bad guys. And you know what? At a core of a video game, you are ultimately always doing essentially the same thing. Essentially you're going to a place. Depending on what you're doing, that might differ. But ultimately, you're kind of, eventually going to be rinse and repeating it overall. I'm not going to compare this to like The Witcher 3, which is like amazing, which I'm also going to be making a video on that very soon, foreshadowing. But this game is just so much fun, and I'm going to tell you why, and I also think you should play it as well if you have, actually I think it's on PC as well. Regardless, you should play it no matter, if you're able to, or if you have already played it, down below, let me know what you think of it. And as always, if you do enjoy this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe. So the first aspect of this game that I want to mention is the setting. 1960s New Bordeaux is so awesome. It's really 1960s Louisiana, New Orleans, and I'm a huge history guy, right? I'm a history teacher, okay? I do Civil War reenacting. I'm in my master's right now for history, military and history concentration, okay? I love history. So the reason I'm upset at myself, I didn't buy this game earlier. I don't know why I didn't. I just bought into all of the disgust with it and disdain about how repetitive it is, but it's so much fun. The radio, the songs on the radio are just so atmospheric, right? They just reel you in. You feel like it. The cars, the sounds that the cars make, the driving, it's just so great.
Allegedly killed 2 colored men in self-defense in front of his home has been arrested. According to Dupree's defense attorney, pressure from local civil rights leaders and growing national attention on the case is what motivated the DA to file charges. The Korean War veteran has been released on bail pending trial. Dupree is accused of killing Vietnam veterans Trey McCall and Lamont Harris after the young men knocked on his front door seeking help with a flat tire.
Okay, and this game is essentially a Grand Theft Auto, you know, in the 1960s, and that's okay. It doesn't necessarily try to be Grand Theft Auto, you know. It makes sure that it's its own separate entity. Okay, and I'm gonna talk about the repetitiveness in a moment. So the 1960s atmosphere environment, I just love more than anything. It's so much fun. The gameplay itself, one of the biggest complaints I'd heard from people is that sometimes assassinations or killing lieutenants is the same animation. And I mean, it kind of is, but that doesn't really bother me whatsoever. I'm not really sure if they've made more. I mean, I've noticed similarities, but again, it's not like, oh my god, I'm stabbing him in the neck in the same exact position. Like, I don't know. But then again, I think the people who were complaining about it were also thinking a bit too much into it as well, complaining a bit too much about it. It just didn't bother. It just does not bother me whatsoever. The other repetitive nature of it is, as I said before, the rackets. You go to a location, and here's the thing about that. Every single territory, every single section of the city has different rackets. Okay, so one might be prostitution, another one might be, you know, heroin, you know, money laundering. They're all different, right? And again, you don't really see that it's different per se, but it's still kind of cool that they're all different locations. I mean, these locations, these structures are pretty big as well, right? Not only that, but the way that you can handle the situations, you can go in very stealthily, which is a lot of fun. It's actually really difficult too. I found it to be kind of difficult, but then again, I'm also not really a stealth guy. I'm more of a run and gun, which is what I usually do. At the same time, I die a lot, partly because I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, and running and gunning just doesn't always work out. I mean, you eventually lose. It's pretty easy to die in here. And so that repetitive nature just didn't really bother me whatsoever, to be completely honest. I'm having a blast with this game. The gameplay is really fun. Last thing I'm going to touch on is the story. So the story itself is awesome. Right at the beginning, you obviously, if you play the demo for this game, you do the bank robbery scene, and then something happens. I won't spoil it. And it is definitely a revenge story. And I was like, this is cool. I mean, I really didn't know anything about the story going into this. I didn't know why he was hunting down the mob or anything like that. And I think that they really pulled it off. Obviously, I'm not finished with the story whatsoever yet, but the cutscenes in between every main story are great.
And how did Lincoln Clay convince Thomas Burke, Vito Scaletta, and the woman known as Cassandra to work together?
He called a sit-down. He told them to meet him at an old plantation house in the bayou. When he had them all in the same room, he laid out how they were going to take down Marcano. Lincoln could be very persuasive.
And there are a lot of story missions that I've done so far, so there's a lot of background to this, and it cuts to the future, and you get more background on it. And that's something that I think Hangar 13 did a really good job of, is building background, building character, context, right? Even if they're just lieutenant mob bosses, right, or lieutenant mobsters who you really won't ever see again. It's just kind of cool to know what happened to them or what is happening to them. And, you know, it kind of also builds an element of mystery as well, because you're hearing about events that are happening from characters that are still alive that you're seeing as you're playing. And you're like, okay, well, what ended up happening, you know, to you since then, or what ended up happening to Lincoln Clay? And it kind of builds a level of anticipation as well as mystery, where you want to finish it, you want to find out what happens, and so that's really the biggest points I have right now for, you know, why I think that you should play Mafia 3. It's so much fun. If you just want a good, and this is the thing, now that I'm in school, I'm really busy. I can't do YouTube as much, as rigidly as I was, where I have a video coming out all the time. And I've also wanted to not switch to, but incorporate console games into my channel as well. So I'll probably make an update video about that. Like I said, I have a Witcher 3 video coming out. If you're into my Discord, I do still talk on there, so be sure to follow me on my or join my Discord as well. There's a link to that down below. And really check this game out, Mafia 3. If you just want a good time in the 1960s, a good historical game, that's one of the reasons I love it. Just a good historical game with tons of freedom, an amazing story so far, lots of weaponry, lots of things to do essentially, collectibles, all that fun stuff, then definitely check out Mafia 3. It is awesome. So everyone, that's this video. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Stay super, and I will see you all next time.